What if I told you that many of the answers that you're looking for are in places that you never stop to think to explore? Those places are not your future. Those places are not your purpose. Those places are not your assignment. And those places aren't even your past. The crazy thing is, we never think to look where we come from. We never think to discover who we are. We never get that understanding about where we actually come from, because you have to think about it. Every garden tells a story, and every story starts with the root. Have you ever noticed that when somebody asks you who you are, you start telling them everything that you do? You start telling them that you're a mom. You start telling them you're a wife, you're a teacher, you're a CEO, you're the owner of this company, you're the founder of this nonprofit. I'm a caregiver. But those are roles, okay? Those are roles. They are titles. They are not who you are. They are not your character. They are not your authentic self. They are the things that you do, not the things that you are. The more life experience that I have, I realize that many women, including myself, have spent years managing responsibilities without even ever stopping to understand the experiences, the environment, the beliefs, and the stories that actually shaped them, that actually mold them, that actually cultivated them and me into who I am. The experiences, not the roles. The moments that I have, the reactions that I take to the moments that I have, the reactions to my adversity, the reactions to rejection, the reactions to the things that I feel like are pushing me back. Those are the things that has cultivated me into who I am, right? Not what I do. My roles have not cultivated to me. I've had plenty of roles. I have plenty of roles. They have not cultivated me into the woman that I am. The experiences, though, that I've had in those roles, that is what has cultivated me into the woman that I am. So are roles necessary? Absolutely. But roles are not who you are. Those are your experiences. And who you are molds those experiences. Who I am, or who I've told myself that I am, can grant or warrant the reactions that I have in different experiences in life. And the more that I grow, the more that the roots get deeper, the more understanding of who I am, those reactions change. So I may have a similar experience, but I may react differently. Therefore, it's creating a new flower in me. It's creating a new root in me. It's creating a new herb, a new herb for healing in my life. Because once I realize who I am, maybe I'm not a plant that you cook with. Maybe I'm a plant that heals. Maybe this part of me is something that adds flavor, that adds fun to people's life, that adds culture. But this part of me adds healing. This part of me helps people become whole. This part of me helps people live the life that they were supposed to. This is the difference between roles and who you are. So we can see where we are in life. I'm a 40 plus woman. I know my environments. I know what I'm doing. I know my roles. But sometimes we don't actually understand how we got there, because we don't stop to think about it. For me, I don't stop to think about anything. I'm on to the next thing. I'm often not present. I'll finish one accomplishment or one task and I don't celebrate myself. I don't look back. I don't take that resting period. I'm always on to the next. Okay, what's the next thing? And not thinking about back to reflect, not thinking about the growth, not taking in my garden and the beauty that it has produced, but I'm on to planting the next thing right after harvest. We got to let that soil rest so that we can understand who we are, who we're becoming. Right? And that starts with how we were created. What does that look like for us? It's crazy because it used to be a trend to say we listen and we don't judge. And that's crazy because we can say that to everybody else, but we can't say that to ourselves. Our story started before we had the choices. So why are we judging ourselves based on our choices when we don't know the origin of our story? You keep judging yourself. Many of us have spent years judging ourselves for behaviors because we don't understand where we came from. Why do I struggle with boundaries? Why do I fear rejection? Why do I constantly need approval? Why do I shut down when conflict shows up? Sometimes the answer isn't found in what we're doing. Sometimes it's found in what shaped you. What type of soil was this seed of yours planted in? When we understand our story, we stop fighting symptoms and start understanding roots. Because what was in the soil of your first seeds, right? Did they put a lot of negativity in your soil? They meaning the people that raised you or that was around you, or kids in the elementary school. Were you told by family that you were never going to be anything, and were you raised from a broken mom? And that's sort of that is the main thing that I be looking at now. I don't want us to raise our children from the brokenness that we had. So we need to go back and till that soil. But we don't know what our soil needs until we start examining it, start testing it. What does that look like? A lot of things I did not understand about how I grew up didn't come until I tested that theory. Testing looks like, why do I do that? What makes me think about stuff like that? So when I think about even the people that I grew up with, my parents, I have learned how to give them so much grace because I think about their origin stories and I think about where they came from. And I'm thinking like, wow, that was their normal, but that wasn't good. That wasn't righteous. That wasn't the way that God intended family to operate, right? And because I come from that generation, my parents' generation was, and then before them, was one that swept everything under the rug. We just don't talk about it. What goes in the house stays on in the house. There was no therapy. There was no digging up of the roots. There was no examining soil. It is what it is. And we keep moving. That's not, and that's that. That is the soil that I had to till up. That is the soil that I had to put nutrients in that said, hey, it's okay. It's okay to go and talk to somebody about what's going on. It's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to heal from the not being okay. It's okay to say that you're not healed. It's okay for you to take a healing journey. It's okay for you to cry. It's okay for you to laugh. It's okay for you to smile. It's okay. And I had to change that. It's okay to hug. I had to change those things because some of the things that I saw, I just took it for surface. But when I dug deeper, I was like, oh my. So it's not about blaming. It's not about like, oh my gosh, I'm this way because of them. No. I will not blame. It's about being aware, and awareness creates freedom. So when I self-discover, when I see those things, I'm like, okay, this is why they act the way they do. This is why they parented the way they parented. This is why the relationship was how the relationship was. So I'm not blaming my childhood. It's not about living in the past, but it's about being aware. So I can see those things and say, okay, this needs to be changed. This needs to be tilled. This needs to be dug up, those sort of things. So because what remains unconscious often remains in control. That's crazy. That is crazy talk. So the things that we don't even make ourselves aware of becomes the things that control us. And that is so true for me. I think I did a couple videos back where I had a self-discovery moment in while I was recording with y'all. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it changed the whole trajectory of my health journey. It changed so much. And so the goal is not to stay in the yesterday. It's to be aware of the yesterday and find things that work in the present. You have to not let your yesterday control your today. You have to not let your yesterday control your future. And I have to is so strong. A verbiage is so strong of a statement. But if you want to grow, if you want to become your authentic self, you have to become aware of the things that are holding you back. You have to become aware of the things in your soil that's not allowing you to grow to your fullest potential. So please understand that you are more than what happened to you. It is very important to know that you're not your trauma. You're not your mistakes. You're not your disappointments. You're not your labels. You are not your questionable choices. You are not the worst thing someone said about you. Those were their words. I'm not going to pick that up and plant that. I'm going to let that go. And if I did plant it, I'm pulling that out. That's a root. That's a root that's killing my whole garden. That has got to go. Those things may have influenced your journey. Those things may have actually cultivated you into something that you don't even like. You may have a whole garden that is not you, right? I don't plant flowers because I like them. I plant flowers because they are helping my garden, my feeding garden, my food garden, my herbal garden. A lot of people plant flowers because that's them. They like to see the beauty of it. I'm planting flowers because they are bringing pollinators. They are deterring different pests from my food things. That is why I garden. And it's crazy talk for me to have a whole garden, life garden of flowers when that's not me. It's not me. It's not me. So your whole garden could be based on something that's not you. Please go and examine your life garden. What is in there? What are the plants that are thriving in negative soil that are taken over? What is that? Take that up. Pluck that thing up from the root. Become aware and pluck it up from the root. Please believe that your story has its origin, but it also has chapters. It has chapters that show and showcase who you are becoming. And the thing about chapters is they always have a beginning and they always have an end. They're temporary. Are they building blocks? Yes. But do they stay forever? No. No. You have those origin chapters. You have those foundational chapters. You have those rainy chapters. You have those sunny chapters. You have those chapters that help you to grow. You have those chapters where you can sit in sabbatical and rest. There are different chapters in your life story. It's not over. You're still here. You're watching this. You're watching this, and maybe you have started a new chapter, or maybe you're coming out of an old chapter. Either way, your story is not over. It's not over. Let's think about, because y'all know I'm a God girl, and it all comes down to God is our creator. Point blank, period. He created us in his image. So if you want to really see what you look like, go and study the character of God. Go and study what attributes he has. Because God told us that he made us in his image. So we already know that he's a creator. So you have creativity inside of you. That's one thing. You have whether it looks like administrative work, whether it looks like creating a blanket or creating systems, creating an app or creating art. You're a creator. Okay? God is a love. I don't care what people want to do, want to blame God for everything that people are making horrible choices over. God gave us a right to choose, and we're making horrible choices, and we're blaming God for those consequences. Why? That's a whole nother story for another day, honey. But the thing of it is God is love. God is kindness. So that's what you are. You're made of that. So if God is that, you should be exuding that, and you should be receiving that as well. Okay? Because those things grow you. Those things cultivate your garden. Love cultivates your garden. God is a God of organized. He doesn't do a lot. He don't do chaos. He don't do confusion. So if you see any of that, that ain't you. You're operating out of a place that you're not supposed to be operating out of. And if you really want to know who you are, have that conversation with God. We can look at his characteristics and get the overall umbrella view of it, but then he created us specifically different for whatever assignment he's given us here on earth. So if you really want to dig deep, which I implore you to do so, I did it, and it is definitely life-changing, life-transforming. It will show you some things. It's going to cut you, but it's going to heal you at the same time, okay? Because it has to cut you to get that dead stuff away, right? When you get that pedicure, sometimes you got to can't play with Myra's feet, okay? If you know, you know. But you gotta get that dead skin off. You gotta exfoliate, okay? Exfoliation is not like, it shouldn't hurt that bad, but it got a little twang to it, right? So same thing when God is showing us who we are, when he is uncovering the healthy layer of ourselves, it may give a little twang. It may give a little ouchie. It may give a little boo-boo. But as he is pruning you, as he is purifying you, he is actually healing you. He is bringing you to your purest form. Gold purification. Gold comes from the ground, comes from dirt. When you get enough gold, they put it in the fire. The fire is hot. It gets melted. It loses its shape. It loses its form. Then it gets created in the shape and in the form where it can be best utilized. Stop trying to be a pendant when you're made to be a ring. So even though you're going through this purification process with God, trust him. Trust the maker. Trust the creator. Okay? Trust him in this. Okay? All right. We got to get on to this life work. So before next week and our next conversation, I want you to spend some time reflecting on these questions. Write them down, journal them, pray over them, think about them. What environment shaped me growing up? What messages did I hear repeatedly about myself? What strengths did I develop because of my upbringing? What fears did I develop because of my upbringing? What parts of my story am I avoiding? What parts of my story deserve compassion instead of criticism? And finally, what would happen if I become curious about my story instead of being ashamed of it? And don't be alarmed, I'm going to put those questions in the description box below. So if today's conversation resonated with you, I want to invite you to go deeper. This lesson comes directly from my book, Discovering Me, A Practical Guide to Self-Discovery. I've also created a guided reflection journal that walks alongside the book to help you process your own journey, one question at a time. And together, they were designed to help you stop surviving and start understanding yourself. You'll find the link to both in the description below. So if you don't know, hey, it's me, Il Marie, and if you made it this far, you are ready to become a student of your own story. You are ready to stop hiding from the roots and stop running from the roots, and start understanding them. Because the more you understand your roots, the more you understand your origin story, and where you come from, the easier it becomes to discover who you are in the present. Welcome to the journey. So welcome to the journey. Welcome to the Discovering Me series. And if you like to go ahead and click the like button, go ahead and share it with 5 of your friends. And make sure you subscribe. And remember, in a world full of chaos, always focus on the good. Until next time, toodles.